In the modern day of web development, any and every stack works. So, how do you choose? Well, I was going to give you this long explanation on like, oh yeah, this is better because X, this is better because Y. But the stack I'm using is basically pre-built, sort of, and there's extensive documentation already about it. So it's a T3 stack. So we can go take a look of what it is and my explanation of each of the parts. So this is the stack. It's a full stack framework, so front end and back end are covered along with a few other edge pieces. So let's start with the front end. Of course, we're using Next.js because it is just the framework for the React framework for the web. There's nothing better for it in terms of React. I'm excited for the future of React and the vision that Next.js has for it. Within our Next.js app, the main language is TypeScript or JavaScript. Same thing. TypeScript is just better. It's just better. Type safety is something that allows you to move fast and not break things, even though I do break a lot of things. But TypeScript is just really good, and the rules that you can place around it with ESLint is just even better. It just protects you from doing all sorts of bad things and things that are like not really recommended nor efficient. For styling, we have Tailwind. Tailwind is really awesome. I'm not a designer in any way at all. I'm more of a software engineer, so tackling CSS was a daunting task for me. Luckily, Tailwind makes it really easy to grasp, and it's just really awesome. Okay, I use ShadCN for my like Tailwind primitives. So like, as I said, I'm not good at design. With the ShadCN UI elements, they're like headless and unstyled, and they're just amazing. Yeah, it has everything you'll need. So for the back end, I'm going with is MySQL, specifically PlanetScale, which is a MySQL database that uses Vitess in order to scale horizontally. That's really fancy words for I won't need to worry about infrastructure. That is one of the main things is I want to focus on developing great solutions instead of worrying about a Kubernetes or a bucket or a loader or any of those other things. They use the same architecture that YouTube uses. When my apps scale to multi-billion users, just like YouTube, it's never going to scale to multi-billion, but I can only hope. All right. So as an ORM, I'm using Drizzle, just because it could be used on the edge. Prisma is really good too. I've had some experience with that, but Drizzle is it's just better. It's more lightweight. It's more like SQL. There's not really any like hand wavy magic, Rust bindings or whatever that means. Next, we have tRPC. So it was really hard for me to grasp what tRPC does and what was its purpose. It stitches together your front end and back end. So when you need to fetch data from your front end to your back end, you're usually dealing with JSON. JSON is not typed. Being able to validate types on the front end and back end is really important. The client or the front end having to make requests to the back ends for data and receiving it usually with native fetch APIs in a JSON format type, pseudo JSON format. It's really hard to retrieve types. So what tRPC is, it basically stitches the back end and front end together in terms of when the client requests for data from the back end, the types are preserved from the back end to the front end. So in a way, it stitches together the front end and the back end so that you know where data is flowing and what type of data and how it's structured. Really awesome. tRPC is so good. Took me a really long time to grasp what it is. I'm doing a whole rewrite for an app that I use server actions for because I didn't understand what tRPC was. But once I did my due diligence, I am currently refactoring the entire code base to switch from server actions to tRPC. So yeah, tRPC is great. This stack is all T3. There's more documentation on t3.gg. I'm using Clerk to handle auth. And basically how I do that is I'll have a tenant table in the PlanetScale database. It's not really the most efficient, but it's what I got so far. I know I could keep like quote unquote metadata, but I'd rather just keep it all within a centralized place. So I'm mainly using Clerk to just handle the purest definition of auth for me. For payments, I like using Stripe. for mainly web transactions. Now, I am working with brick and mortar businesses, so Square sometimes is better because they're able to process cash transactions, whereas Stripe was meant to be used only with web transactions. Shopify is used if you're doing any sort of like physical products over the internet, so like selling merchandise, selling shirts, things of that nature. So a lot of the applications that I use involve real-time communication and real-time data. I tend to use WebSockets a lot. The best solution I've found, Pusher is great. The Pusher channels are really good to get started and things of that nature. It just becomes really hard to test things when the free limit is not that great. So what I did is I used Sockety, which is an open source WebSocket protocol setup thing. They make it really easy to host. They just recently rolled out like a serverless setup for WebSockets, which basically they make it really easy for WebSockets to work with Cloudflare workers. Super simple, super awesome, really cheap pricing. It's like you pay $5 a month and basically you have unlimited connections and unlimited messages. Awesome product. But yeah, you should do that. And speaking of free tiers, for all the technologies mentioned, they have very generous free tiers. While it shows here that PlanScale has 5 gigabytes of storage included, text can be stored very cheaply. So 5 gigabytes is a lot more than you think. My bad, I said 1 million. 1 billion row reads per month. 10 million row writes per month. 1 dev branch and 1 production branch, but like that is great. I mean, you only get, I think, 3 databases. The thing about Drizzle is that you can declare like database prefixes, so you can use one database for many projects, and it's really awesome. Vercel, if you ever need to go to a paid tier for any of these services, you're going to be well equipped to handle the cost of a paid tier, because these services basically allow you to scale infinitely, and you're just paying for more features. Virtually infinitely, of course, like there's other things. Clerk allows you to scale to like 5,000 monthly active users per month. So like it's really awesome. So yeah, that was my stack. It's not really my stack, it's the T3 stack, and with my like explanations around it. So yeah, if there's like any questions, you can always go to create T3 app. The T3 team is awesome. I love everything they're doing. I believe in the vision. Theo and the team, they've created an awesome stack. There's not really much else to say other than like read up on it, because it's not a real intro stack. So like when I started with this thing called the MERN stack. It was MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. So that was like the OG stack. Like it was crazy what kind of projects I was making with that stack. This stack basically just allows you to move fast and break things. All the paradigms listed here are like really awesome. They allow us to solve problems, bleed responsibly, and type safety is not optional, but like you just read more on it. It's really good. But yeah, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I think starting tomorrow, I'm starting a series, Advent of Code Prep. So yeah, I'm gonna start filming that one tomorrow. I'm gonna come out with a short to get ready for Advent of Code on December 1st. That'll be fun. If you enjoyed, just drop a comment, I guess. Oh, it's so weird to say that. If you enjoyed, drop a comment. Links in the description for everything that I do, basically. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.